What's going on, how's it hanging, how's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Hey everybody, we are looking at June 7th already. It's a Tuesday, and the band we're talking to today has an album coming out on Friday, June 10th. Now, let me tell you this about the album before we get going into it. Is it an album of the year contender? Yeah, it is. It is that good. Before we jump in, though, I want to thank our sponsors. First, we have Phoenix Fitness. Summer is here. Festival season is here. You want to make sure that, when it comes to festival season, you're able to last for, 4 days of mosh and going crazy and not, just be like, oh, God, I'm done with this. Kill me. No. So you want to achieve those fitness goals so that you can get to that point. So you might go to the gym. You might be, running, lifting, doing all that stuff, hitting the cardio stuff. Might be working outside. Might be trying to do anything to achieve those fitness goals for any given reason. You know me, it's all for the mosh pit though, Woo! But you also want to make sure you prepare and recover right so your body can, maximize itself and achieve those fitness goals. That's where Phoenix Fitness comes in with many different supplements to help you achieve those goals, such as pre-workouts, both sim and sim-free to help you get going, and amped up during those workouts. B-Cellular Recovery Complex will help your body absorb a bunch of those nutrients, post-workout. Creatine help you build muscle. Protein blends help you build muscle with AM blends, PM blends, plant-based blends, collagen blends, or yourself for your whey blends directly after your workout. Boom, they have that for you. Multivitamins, literally anything you might need to achieve your fitness goals, Phoenix Fitness has for you. So our listeners get 15% use code MSOTD and FXFit.com. Link description of the podcast. Look at the promo code. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness. Our second sponsor is Custom Debuts. So, do you want to be the coolest cat in your dorm room, in your apartment, in your house, in your basement, in your garage, in your office, literally anywhere you might want to be like, hey, look at the cool code poster I got. It's all about my music, man. Yeah. So, where do you go to do that? Custom Debuts, where you go do that. Here's what you go to Custom Debuts website and you type the name of a band that you like. I'm going to use Future Palace on this one because this is just kind of cool. Yeah, that's actually the band we have on the podcast today. We'll go to that a little bit later. Now, I can pick their new album, Run, which comes out on June 10th, or I can give them a song like the single Paradise. And what the Custom Debuts will do is they'll create a custom poster for me based off that information. They will create a custom poster based off the album artwork, off of one of the videos, off the lyrics of the song, off the track listing. And when they are done within 48 hours, they will send me a proof. And if I like it, I can be like, yeah, run with it. If I don't like it, I can tell them what changes I want to it. They'll make those changes. And when I'm satisfied, boom, then we run it. And they will send it to either poster paper, canvas print, or is an aluminum freaking sign. Now, you want to make your neighbors jealous. You want to make Jim jealous because he might have a better lawn than you do. That's where you get that aluminum poster for Future Palace. To be like, whoa, where'd you get that? And be like, Custom Debuts, bitch. So our listeners get 10% use code CPP10 on Custom Debuts website, link description of the podcast, along with the promo code. We also sponsoring When We Were Hungry Festival happening out in Las Vegas on October 20th and 21st. Memes in the Dreams, Pancakes in the Pit, podcast bands will be playing there, including Modern Day Escape, Saving Vice, Outlier, Along Came a Spider, plenty more like Dropout King, Scarlet O'Hara, A Skylit Drive, and there are plenty more still to, maybe still be announced, but here's what you're going to do. There's a website for When We Were Hungry Festival. It's in the description of the podcast. Go there, check out the lamp, and if tickets are available at this point, go and get them. You're not going to want to miss out on Pancakes in the Pit, baby! So yeah, now it's time for a feature presentation. So I have Maria from the German band Future Palace on the podcast. Now, the band, let's take a look-see. Post-hardcore with influences also coming from electronica, soul, 80s synth, but have been compared to Holding Absence, Spirit Box, Paris, Bring Me the Horizon, and While She Sleeps. So Run is incredibly dynamic. Let's just put it that way. Maria uses unclean vocals a lot more, maybe, a lot more on this album. And I tell you this album is absolutely fantastic. If you like Spirit Box, if you like Bring Me the Horizon, if you like While She Sleeps, if you like Bad Omens, you're going to really love this album. Trust me on that. So Maria comes on the podcast. We talk about the album. We also talk about her voice. We also talk about, what she's learned from touring, the band's growth, what they're doing to continue to grow, and the importance of doing all of these things and how it feels like second nature to them, all because of their love and passion for wanting to make this as successful as possible. So please welcome Maria from Future Palace to the podcast. This is a great one. You're not going to miss out on it. You're not going to miss out on that album. Are you guys ready? Let's go! I can't do unclean vocals, so yeah. Well, ladies and boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. This band came across my radar thanks to Adam Splitter PR, and I looked at what they had going on. It was like a post-hardcore band influence in electronica, soul, 80s synth. But then I saw their like bands they've been compared to. It was like Holding Absence, who I really like, Spirit Box, Paris, Bring Me the Horizon, and While She Sleeps. And I'm looking at this thinking, okay, there's definitely going to be something here. Like, I just got to listen to this. I listened to the band, their single Paradise, which is out now. It's off of their new album Run, which comes out on June 10th, 2022. And let me put it this way. After I heard that one song, I was absolutely hooked. Like, I'm like, I need to know more about this band. I want to get them on the podcast. So bing, bang, boom, we're here. So please welcome all the way from Germany, Maria from the band Future Palace. So Maria, welcome to Chord Progression Podcast.
Hello, what's up? What's up?
Oh, nothing much. I mean, I'm just happy to be doing this with you and happy to have a day full of good music. So how are things going on your end?
Great. We just got back from touring with NSOK, which you can probably hear by my voice. So don't be confused about that. It's a little, I don't know, tired. Yeah, we have like a few days off and then we're back on track with them, on the bus, saving some energy right now. And yeah, excited for the release from our album, which is happening next month already. So quickly, suddenly.
Well, I mean, that's kind of one thing I've seen happen. It's like you get a lot of bands right now that are releasing new material because, of course, during the pandemic, it's what else is there to do when everything was shut down, but work on new material, everything around there. But one other thing I've been seeing around a lot of bands is just the material that's been released has been of such high quality, such going in different directions, trying many different things. And with your album, I mean, that's just basically like scratching the surface of it because this album has so many different things going on in there. But it was like a band, like there's a band called Wind Waker from Australia. With their recent, I called it like a cohesive chaos where it was just all over the place, but everything worked together. This had that exact same feel, but in more of like a heavier sense. I'm just like, I'm loving this shit.
So you just recently heard about us with this new song?
Yep, I first heard about you. I got like a press release for it. I'm like, okay, let's check this out. Let's check out Paradise. And all of a sudden, right from the get-go, I mean, I just kind of looked at this, was listening to it, had my hand on my head like this on my desk. I'm just thinking, where has this been? Like, why did this like just come through my like radar now?
I'm happy it came there because finally more people see us even overseas, not only here in Germany or Europe. So it's so nice to finally be able to reach people and more people. So cool.
Oh, it is. Even I've sent some people, I've sent some people I know, like, the song. I'm like, just check this out, see what you think. And a lot of the comments I get back, I'm like, it's like, we wanted more stuff like, we're looking for something, kind of like that emotion of Spirit Box. And it's like, this song hits it. And now I'm telling them, like, I can't send you more stuff than, that's already out there. But trust me, there is so much more depth than just that. It's like, holy crap. It's just, this album is just, I'll put it this way. I've got a list above my desk that has like my top 10 albums of 2022, just a rundown. So like at the end of the year, I can kind of like pick it together. And after listening through this one time through, I'm like, I'm pulling down the list off. I'm putting it down my desk, grabbing a marker, writing Future Palace, Run on there, and I'm putting it right back up there.
Wow. Oh, yeah, wow. What an honor. Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited how people will react. So far, we have like a few singles out there, which people seem to like, even though they're pretty different. Like A World in Tears, for example, which was one of our singles, is pretty poppy. And then we came with Flames, which is really like harsh compared to it. And now this single seems to be more likable for both worlds, like for softer and also people who like metal. It's so nice to see reactions to it. Also, like we had a few reactions from YouTube already. It's so fun to see. It's crazy. I'm still like in a weird world because we just had our first headline tour, and I saw so many people in real life that listen to us, and I didn't even know people like know us in real life. It's so crazy. It's honestly crazy.
But I mean, that just sort of validates what you have been doing with the band and what the band has been completed over, the past couple of years, and especially during the pandemic, and just with the release of the single so far off of this record, with how people are listening to it and how people are just connecting to them and just having that moment of, they hear the songs, they connect to them, they want to know more about the band, and whenever they get a chance to go and see you play live, you guys are traveling around Europe, all of a sudden, it's like it's like a must-see kind of thing. There's no doubt in my mind where all of a sudden it's, the tour release comes out, those posters come out, and all of a sudden it's like you look at the tour dates, and if you see one that's like, anywhere within 2 hours, 3 hours travel distance of you, there is no doubt in my mind all of a sudden people are gonna be like, yeah, we have to go now.
Oh, that would be, it's amazing. I don't know, it's amazing to see how people like us and the music. I just can't believe it still, because it happened so quickly, everything. And then with the pandemic, as you said, you didn't get any feedback and couldn't do much besides writing songs, which we did, to kind of survive the stupid time. And now this is so overwhelming, so in a nice way, overwhelming in the nicest way possible, actually.
Again, it's just kind of adding to that like validation of the hard work you're putting into this, and just everything of like every bit of passion you're putting into this, just really coming out, connecting with people, and you're seeing the success come off of that now. Even, might be, it's like, kind of somewhat came out of nowhere, maybe came a little bit quicker than some other bands, but that's just the way that life is. Sometimes it hits real quickly, sometimes it takes some time to hit, but it all depends upon how your sound and how your music is going to impact people. And with the singles you have out now, yeah, you do go through a vast array of different sounds, different influences. So when people do listen to it, it's kind of like there's a song where you can get into it no matter what. And even if you don't like one, you might like the other a lot more. But again, like when it comes to Paradise, it seems like that's kind of like the cohesive, along with Heads Up as well, kind of like the cohesive singles where everyone can come together. And it's like, these are the songs that everyone enjoys and just everyone can vibe with, no matter where your, personal music taste really lie. If it's on a heavier side, if it's on a softer side, a more alternative side, or a more, let's jump into a mosh pit and go absolutely ape crazy side, like me.
Yeah, actually, that's funny that you also feel this way, because we also have Paradise on tour, and we noticed that Paradise and even Heads Up are the songs where everyone has a lot of fun, or most of the fun, actually, because everyone knows the song and then everyone goes crazy with these. It's so nice to play them live. So you have to see it when we're there sometime.
Well, that means one of two things. One, it means that hopefully, maybe late 2022 after the album release, or maybe sometime in 2023, Future Palace is going to head over to the United States, and all of a sudden I'm going to get to have some fun in the pit for those. Or hopefully, if everything finally comes into fruition, I've been trying to get back over to Europe since 2019 after I was there for a week. I'm like, I got to go back there now. And my sole purpose of wanting to go back there is just traveling around to as many places as possible. And every single night, I want to go and see a concert, and I want to go and see a band I've had on the podcast before and see them play, either in their like a hometown show or just like a home country show, and just really get into that whole entire, just get a whole new experience with a whole another group, like a whole different culture, but within the same rock and metal culture as well, and just experience all that and just have so much fun doing everything of that every step of the way, along with supporting all the bands I've had in the podcast that I've absolutely enjoyed, which has been like 100% of the bands I've had in the podcast, not gonna lie.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Let's do both. We're coming there, and then you come here as well.
See, now I like that idea. I really like that idea, because then it involves, seeing more Future Palace live. It also involves you guys traveling over to the United States, touring the US, and really bringing more of your sound and getting more people into the band here. Along with that, it also means me going over to Europe and, getting to see you guys play live in Europe, and also travel around Europe. And all of a sudden, who knows, all of a sudden I could start one spot, see you guys, all of a sudden towards the end of my trip, make it around to a completely different spot, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, Future Palace is playing again? Yeah, I'm buying a ticket. Are you kidding me?
Yes, that'd be amazing. I'd love to travel again, also to the US. I've been there only once. My siblings live there, 3 of them. So it would be amazing to play there. I would really love to. And I think we would fit on the US, I don't know, market or genre with the other bands. I think it would be really cool to meet other bands from there.
After listening to the album, I mean, there is a definite market here for your sound in the US, and there's a definite fit as well. I mean, I'm just thinking about a couple of different things. One is, there's a bunch of different festivals that always happen around the summer. I mean, I'm going to one at towards the end of May, and then I've got one in October as well. But there's plenty others as well, and it's just the vast array of music that ends up coming through there. Is you're always going to end up finding fans there, but also with your sound, with the dynamics behind it, and also with, a little bit kind of like a little bit more of a lean to the heavier side as well. There's a lot of bands here in the US where all of a sudden, if you got put on a tour with them, it's just it would fit no matter what. The energy flow would fit, the vibe would fit. So all of a sudden, if you get put on a tour with, let's say, Spirit Box, or put on a tour with Bad Omens, or I'm trying to think of a couple. I mean, hey, I'm not even gonna lie. Put you on a tour with like Killswitch Engage and Light the Torch, and this absolutely works every step of the way. It's the dynamics that your band has with Future Palace. There is a lot of bands in the rock and metal scene where you could be placed with them, and the energy flow just completely works. It's kind of like, I can't see any band in the rock and metal scene not wanting to go on tour with you, and because there's no way that there's going to be any sort of like fan misconnection or any like it's too far away from other genres. No. It just fits no matter what.
Oh, that's cool to hear. Yeah, that's cool to hear. It's funny because we're going on tour at the end of the year with a pretty different genre, with a band called BattleBeast. I'm excited to see how that will work out. Because it's really different from what we're doing ourselves. But sometimes it might work as well when you have like two different genres or similar genres, because it's more like, it's metal, but like more like power metal, I think. But yeah, I would really go crazy to have like a tour with, I don't know, Bad Omens or a Beartooth or someone like that. Or like Goals would be like Bring Me the Horizon or something. That would be a goal. Or Paris. Yeah, I'm really excited if that might happen at some point. That would be goals, honestly. But also, we never, not yet, but we will next week, never played our songs in another country yet. Yeah, next week is the first time. So for me, it's really interesting, or it would be really interesting to see native English speakers listening or reacting to our songs, because they're all written in English. And here in Germany or Europe, it's more like, yeah, we like the music, but I feel like less people really notice the lyrics. I'm not sure if that will change in the UK or in America, or Australia, whatever. So I'm really excited to see the difference in the reactions.
Well, I can guarantee you're going to get a different reaction from it, because when you put those lyrics in English, there's certain things that we pick up on, especially if you're a native English speaker, whether it's like, you're from the UK, from the US, from Australia. There's just a difference there, and I understand putting these songs out in English as well, because usually when it comes to music, when it comes to really connecting with the larger audience, it seems like everyone has a much, I would not say easier time, but it's just a much more connective time with English, especially with how big, especially rock metal scene here over in the US. You have the UK as well. You have Australia, major markets all across the world for this stuff. And it just, I really don't know the best way to describe it, but I mean, a lot of bands that are, in rock and metal that come from European countries where English is not the native language, they end up putting their lyrics in English anyway. There are some bands that, sometimes you have songs that are in different languages. I've seen songs where all of a sudden bands have done like a mix of English and Russian, English and German in the same song. And it all depends upon how you can connect with it, how the flow of it is. Because even when you can't understand the lyrics, one of the best things to do to get the emotion of the song is listen to the instrumentals, listen to the vocal pattern, listen to the difference between clean and unclean vocals, listen to the pitch of everything. And even if you don't understand the lyrics, you can get behind the story of the song just through feeling that emotion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we all speak English here, but I think it might be a little different just for a native speaker, but I'm not sure. Also, I'm like, I hope they don't judge my like writing or language skills, because it's sometimes I think it's like a little too cringy or something that I write down, because I'm not a native speaker, but I write them myself. So it's really nice that nobody seems to be like, oh, this is so weird. Like, you can tell she's German, what she's writing and singing. But it's a big compliment for me when people just vibe with the song. It's really cool.
Well, even when like the songs have been able to like look up the lyrics too, and actually trying to follow along with the lyrics and really understand the meaning of the songs from those that I've seen written down. The ones that I haven't seen written down with lyrics, or like the ones that have been released yet, having to listen to and figure it out on my own. The pattern of speech and the way everything is constructed with the poetry behind it, I'm not gonna lie, it was really I would say easy to follow from my perspective as a native English speaker, where it wasn't just, it's like these words like, okay, that's kind of like broken English way. No, it's very cohesive, very flowing. And a lot of this does really make sense. So a lot of native English speakers, again, US, UK, Australia, or people that are really strong with English as a second or third language, they're going to be able to pick up on this and really flow along with it. So when it comes to playing these songs in other countries and, playing them over the UK, when you, I mean, it's not an if, it's when you come over to the US to play these, you're gonna see that sort of connection to it where people are just really connecting even deeper on it, especially when they hear the lyrics, understand them a little bit more, and then of course vibe along with the song and really feel that emotion that's being put out there.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm really excited for that to happen. I hope it's gonna happen soon. I really hope.
Late 2022, 2023, we'll see what happens. But I mean, that's my guess, especially after listening to this album. 2023 is going to be the latest potential because
thanks.
Again, I was listening to this thing. It's just after going through, it was like, wow, why have I never listened to this band before this? But hey, better late than never.
Yes, welcome to the family. Perfect.
Well, thank you. And then I know you said you're going on the road with BattleBeast towards the end of the year. When I saw that, I had the same thought process. I'm like, is this gonna really work out? And then I listened to the music. I'm just like, yeah, this is gonna work out just fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Because I didn't decide that. I wasn't the one who made this up. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, because I didn't hear of them before. Because I don't personally listen to this type of metal. But I'm open to it, and I'm really excited how it's gonna go. I'm probably really different crowd and different vibe, but we're gonna be open for it and just make the best out of it and have fun on this tour. So I'm really excited to, see how the people are and what the difference is like. The genres.
There's going to be a difference in there, and the fans that are going to be listening, it's like, of course, they're coming and they're really coming for BattleBeast. They're going to be expecting, they're going to like that more power metal style that BattleBeast has. But where I see the difference coming in is, listening to your music, all of a sudden it's just, especially, I'm going to use Paradise. Say you open up with Paradise. Just when you come through and you just kind of just come in with that heavier sound, with those unclean vocals, with more of that metalcore backing, it's the energy that's provided behind there and the intensity that's provided behind there that a lot of those BattleBeast fans are probably going to be like, there's going to be some sort of connective feeling in there where it might not be as fast, but the intensity matches up perfectly. So all of a sudden, that's when you see the floor open up and you see all those crazy guys in the pit, throwing, pushing each other, throwing shoulders in everybody. And then, of course, at the end of the song, we're all going to, throw the horns up there, you go, woo! And then, of course, high five each other in the pit, probably give each other a couple of hugs because it's just like, we went through this and it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's all new experiences. We haven't played this many gigs, so I take all of them and enjoy them as much as I can. It's beautiful to be playing again after this time, and I can't wait to keep going, even though my voice is already like pretty tired. But I'm relaxing right now for it to get better, and it's such a nice feeling to see people enjoying these songs live and singing along, even, which I wasn't expecting at all. That they know the lyrics. So it's a dream come true, honestly, already now. So nice.
Now, let me ask you this question, especially, playing these live shows, especially, coming out of the pandemic, and especially with all these new songs as well, along with the vast, the vast variety of vocals that you use in this, from unclean to clean to kind of more of this sonic flowing feel, different pitches all over the place where it's, there's so many different styles that you're working within here. Has it been a challenge, playing these songs live, especially, maybe starting out, like coming out, first couple days of the tour, or was it something where it's like, the energy and the adrenaline was just flowing to the point where when you're up on stage, nothing else mattered except just delivering what you knew you could?
Yeah, I mean, on stage, it was exactly what you said, delivering all I could. I was always trying to do all I can do to get everyone involved and have a good time and give all my energy. The only thing that was pretty rough right now is that we only had 2 days off between our first headline tour and this now support tour. So I was like, oh, I was actually dying. I was just laying here. I couldn't even stand up. I was like, whoa, that's my body. Because the contrast of the last years and now is extreme. It's like nothing and then everything at once. I was trying to prepare my voice and my body, but it's different when it hits in real life. Like sleeping on a bus and then carrying so much stuff around and talking so much after the show, which is the most dangerous part, actually. I didn't think about that. Because the shows itself, they were pretty easy for me, or well, not easy, but they were okay for me for my voice. But then the talking afterwards, because I talk a lot, and I was talking to everyone who was there until the clubs closed and kicked us out, basically. So that's when my voice started to get a little tired, and I noticed it a little too late, and that's why it's a little tired now. But yeah, for it's my first time doing many gigs with screams, because I've never done this in my life before. The first tour we did were only clean vocals, and I'm getting to know my own voice right now again, because I have to see where my limits are. I have to see how much I can talk in a day, or what I can do and what not. And yeah, it's still a journey right now to get to know, but it works fine so far.
And just keep going through and keep working through that learning process, especially with, using, more unclean vocals, which I will be completely honest with you. The more you include them in your songs, especially where they fit, the better these are. Because listening to them, the unclean vocals, again, the first song I listened to was Paradise. Right when I heard them, I had that moment of just kind of, I was working, just had a plane. I was working on something else for my full-time job. And right when I heard him, I literally kind of was in my chair, just like,
nice. That's the reaction we wanted.
Yeah, and then going through the rest of the album is just the use of those unclean vocals just kept adding to the experience, because it wasn't oversaturated, and it was in the parts of the songs where all of a sudden it needed to be put out there. It needed for that emotion to really hit. It needed for us to feel that, in more intense feels of, potential anger, potential desperation, just whatever really could come out there, and just really blasting it, to us. It really did fit. And when you're saying, you have to be more careful about, talking after the show, because that's the most dangerous part. Oh, I can totally understand that. I was at a show at the end of April. It was Caskets, Holy Absence, Thornhill, and Dayseeker.
Oh, and I want to be there as well. That sounds amazing.
Oh, all four bands were.
I love all of them.
I was saying all four bands are absolutely fantastic. And I wanted to talk to the guys in Caskets. I've had them on the podcast twice. Plus, because of that, I had a case of beer for them in my car that I wanted to give them. So at the merch table, I was talking to their bassist and their drummer, and of course, those guys are, talking freely as all ever. They don't really care. We're just having a good time. But I want to talk to their lead singer, because I've had him on twice too, and we were always talking back and forth about a couple different things. And I got to talk to him for maybe a minute and a half, and he's like, I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to blow out my voice. I'm just like, I got you, man.
He's smart. I didn't know that before. Nobody gave you a briefing about that. Now you just know that from experience. And it's the worst feeling, to be honest. The last show we did just a few days ago, a lot of things happened. Like, one of the support band singers, she broke her foot on stage on the second song. Right before that, we also had some issues, and I already noticed how my voice was leaving. So we all were struggling. It was pretty rough. And I noticed in one song, because I didn't have enough rest, sometimes that happens, that my voice just didn't get out. I was like, oh my fucking, what am I gonna do now? I was just turning around, I was looking to Manuel on the guitar, and I'm like, and he's like, what? Because he was like, what is she gonna do? Are we gonna quit or what? And I was like, no, let's just keep going. And then I let them sing, and then at some point my voice came back, luckily. Finally, it was only the clean vocals I had issues with. But yeah, that happens when you don't get enough rest. And now I learned that. I actually just ordered a inhalator. Is that how you call it in English? To inhale oils and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Is that the name?
a kind of like a ventilator, like a humidifier in a way.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Just for touring, and an electric one. And now I just ordered it, and I will totally use it every day. I also bought things, it's called Galo Revoice or something. It's for your voice after you sing, and now I will take care so much more. I need to take care a lot more, because now I notice, okay, it's a lot rougher than I imagined, because it's not only talking and singing, it's also your body is really tired, because you carry a lot, you sleep not that well, maybe in a bus and then you drink. Some people drink all the time. I don't even smoke and drink that. I don't smoke at all, and I don't drink much. But after the second night, I was like, okay, I need to stop drinking at all, because it dries out your throat and everything. And the next day, you just sound worse and worse and worse. So big respect for everyone who does this all the time, because, yeah, it's not that easy. You have to watch out as a singer. You have
So
to
now,
be the boring one.
well, now that you're, talking about like those like humidifiers, like inhaler things where it's just help, feel your voice. I know exactly what they look like because, again, after that show with Cass's Holy Absence, like I got to hang out with them in the tour bus for a little bit, and they had 2 of those on the table. And I could not
Really?
figure out what they were. It was like it had like the mask thing, and it was perfect for them. Like, what the hell are those things? And I could never figure it out because I was always talking to the lead singer of Holy in Absence about some, and we started sharing stupid stories about when they were in primary school. It was just like, okay, this is kind of funny, but I kept looking, thinking like, what are they? And now it totally makes sense and why it was to them because both those bands are on the same bus. It's like those 2 guys have to be using this stuff to calm down their voice and just heal it up so that when they go and play shows night after night, especially you got like a 5-6 straight show run before you have a day off. Yeah, you're going to want to make sure that voice is healed up because the last thing you want to do is all of a sudden come play a show and, have your voice just not be on par and then people leave and it's like, I like the band, but there was something up about the voice. No. Yeah. You don't want any of that.
Exactly. And I was really close to that. And I was like, oh my God, this is the last thing someone ever wants to experience. It's like a nightmare because you can do it. And it's not your fault. It's just the voice can't do it anymore. And that's the stupid thing about being a singer. You have to really like watch out. And it's funny to hear that because I just came up with the idea. Like I was researching and I didn't even talk to any other singers how they do it. So it seems like it's a good idea. Good to know. Because the only way to reach your vocal cords is through not gas, but through like humidifiers. It's not water. It's not like it works as well, but the best way is with air, like fresh air and everything, because you can't touch them with water or anything. Yeah, and then not using them too much as well. But yeah, funny that they have them. Good.
Yeah,
good
it just like clicked in my head when you were talking. I'm like, wait, I finally figured out what those things were. It took me a week to figure out what they were. I've been on this for a whole week, and all of a sudden you said that, just like boom,
that's so funny. Yeah, we're like weird creatures. We singers are like really. We have like they call us maybe drama queens, but we have to be dramatic to take care with our weird tools. And other people have these straws, and then they do bubbles and stuff. I don't have these, but it's funny what kind of gadgets everyone has on tour.
I mean, one other thing I've heard was I think this was from Lacey Sturm, formerly of Flyleaf. What she would do is it was always like a mixture of honey and water, kind of like coat the throat so that it wasn't like when you're doing like those harsher vocals, there's some sort of, it's just not as rough on them. I mean, I think that was the case behind it. I really am not sure what it was, but I know the honey water was a thing though.
Oh, that sounds kind of disgusting though. Honey water, like why not just tea and then
and throw some honey in there. But I guess it all depends upon the properties of whatever type of tea you take and whatever's in that tea. So it could be either or.
It is insane. I learned so much in just a few days because also about tea. I was reading like a lot of tea types are really good for the throat. Some are drying, like I don't even know the English words for Camilla and all of this. And then I went to a apotheke. I don't know where you get your medicine from here. And I was like going to, I'm like, can you please give me something to get my voice back? It's like, I don't even know at this point. Just give me like some pills or something, like to give me some liquid. And I kept telling her what tea I was drinking. She's like, oh my God, yeah, that's actually drying out your throat. I'm like, oh my God, how should I know? It's like, what? It's just tea. I thought it's okay,
Thought tea was supposed to be healthy. And now it's drying out my throat. What is this madness?
Mm-hmm. No, but now I am more careful. Now I know better, and it will get better from now on. I hope.
But experience is going to be the most important thing in, understanding this and learning this, because you could have heard so many different stories about this, from the past. But now the fact that you went through this and you went through the previous tour and all of a sudden that last night, it's like, okay, my voice is just not there. It's, leaving me. It's gone. How do I prevent this from happening again? It's, you have the motivation to really look into this so that when you do go back out, then it's okay. And when you go out with BattleBeast later in the year, it's like, okay, the focus is definitely going to be on making sure that we stay healthy, that we keep the voice ready to go so that when we go out on stage, you go out on stage, you're going to be able to put all the energy in there and you're able to hit those vocals perfectly. And that's going to add to your performance. It's going to add to the energy. It's going to add to, the overall cohesive unit that is the band. And then all your energy, we're going to be down in the crowd looking at this. And we're just going to be like, well, they're giving out all the energy that they possibly can. Now let's freaking throw down and have some fun. And I mean, who knows? All of a sudden, you could be putting out the exact same kind of energy and that's the exact same kind of like just full on energetic style. Because I know you mentioned Beartooth earlier. It's like maybe it's like watching Caleb Shomo on stage, where it's just like anytime you look up there, it's like you could be the slightest bit tired. And at that point, it's like your energy level just goes from like here to just like it's all in here.
Yes, that's the goal, honestly. It's just funny because when you think about touring, you think about like having fun and going crazy. And I didn't know beforehand how much rest I need, because I was like, yeah, let's have fun after, like, let's just have fun on this tour. And then the second night on the Nightliner, we're on the Nightliner with NSOK. And they were putting on songs, like old trashy songs that I love, like Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys. And I was like, I have to sing along. I need to sing along. I just want to have fun. But then I noticed my voice was leaving. I'm like, man, what am I going to? I have to be the boring one now. But so you have to see what's the priority. You have to be good for the show, not for the backstage.
Or if they do that in the next year, where you're going to have to do is like all of a sudden they play the Backstreet Boys, everyone's like going, I want it that way. Tell me why. You're going to have to just be like,
Yeah, I did that at some point. Yeah. I tried to like do something. I just kept dancing more and stuff like that instead of singing. But yeah, I will find my way. It's working better already.
Again, over time, you'll find out exactly what works for you, what works best with your voice, what works to heal it up, and then just go from there. And of course, time, experience, it's all going to be helpful for you, especially as the release of this record comes out, as the BattleBeast tour comes in, and then whatever else comes after that. Maybe a tour with, maybe a tour with Spiritbox, maybe a tour with Beartooth, maybe a tour with Bad Omens. Heck, all of a sudden, you never know. I might see all of a sudden a 2023 tour when all of a sudden you guys are opening up. It's like, well, who's the headliner? Well, you're playing in front of like 5,000 people a night because you're opening for a day to remember.
Wow, that is a childhood dream of mine. I don't know. If that happens, I'm gonna freak out.
If that happens, I think the only thing that you would do in that moment would be disrespect your surroundings.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my god, yeah, that'd be wow. I hope it might happen soon. We're just trying all we can, honestly, all we can and even more to reach all these things quickly and play the entire world if possible and use this time now to have a great time. And
so can I, if you don't mind me asking, like you said, you're trying to do as much as you can to get to that point where all of a sudden you're touring the world and you're going out and living your dream that way and just continuing on the path of that. What have been some things that the band has been doing now in order to achieve that, especially with the upcoming release of Run?
It's been quite a few things. So we are, I don't know how much I can share, but for example, almost all of our off days are mostly band days. Always, like for example, now I also still have a part-time job, and we all do. So we're trying to get some money, but then almost all our off days are always for band things. Like we're planning, I don't know, new stickers or merch things for tour, new merch designs, new music videos, or we shot a lot of music videos on like off days. And I think Manuel was even, our guitar player was already thinking about new songs even and keep researching. And there's always something. It's mainly our drummer, who's also a manager. It's like we have this app called Slack. I don't know if you use it as well. It's
Not
like
really.
it's a working app. And this freaking app, I'm going insane sometimes because every day there's a notification. Every day there's something with the band. It's crazy. I don't even know what, because it's so much. I do it and then I delete it from my head because I'm like, I'm gonna. I don't even know what it is sometimes. Like a few interviews now as well, this is pretty easy compared to like other tasks, and then promotion stuff. I remember. But we're always looking for new gigs as well. We have our other management, Tandem Management. They are also great. We just currently started working with them. With Connor, he's cool. He's super cool, and he comes up with different things as well, like radio interview recently, and he reaches out to so many people, and then that we could tour with maybe, or it's I don't know, it's crazy. And then of course preparing for the gigs as good as possible. I think I even tried to do it for 2 years. I tried to improve my singing. I did it every week. Once in the rehearsal room. I'm thinking about other things. I never actually listed all of this and talked about it. It's just a daily thing. So I can't even remember like all at once. You know, it's twisted. So many different things.
Oh, I can easily understand where you're coming from, so don't worry about that. Where the thing that actually impresses me the most is just the fact that there is so much going on and there is so much, work on always improving, especially you said, working on your voice every day for 2 years to improve it. And then there's always a notification. It's like every single day where, okay, this new thing's coming in for the, like this new thing we got to talk about, this new thing we got to work on, and taking any off day that you have to focus in on the band. I mean, that just comes to the point where if you really want something, I mean, you got to, the grind and the hustle for it, you have to go for it. And if you really want it, you're going to end up putting in all the time in there. And it's not going to feel like this overly burdened, feel of work just because this is what you want to do. This is what you care for. This is the life behind it. And this is what you really want to do to go and achieve your dream. And the fact that you couldn't list off everything because it is just a daily process. So it's just embedded in your mind and it's just kind of, it's understood. So it's just, there's things you're thinking about. It's like, oh, I do these every day. We do these every day as a band to help out the band. But when we think about it, it's like sometimes those things escape us just because we kind of assume that, maybe other bands are doing it just because that's what we do. And it's just, we do it consistently. It's that level of commitment and that level of consistency, which is why, the popularity of Future Palace has begun to rise the way it has, which is why you got the NSOK tours, which is why you got BattleBeast, coming up as well, which is why with the release of Run, I mean, my prediction is all of a sudden, the more it gets out there, the more online presence it has, and the more people are able to connect with it and just listen to it, the more is going to come to the band, the more listens, the more Spotify monthly listeners, the more people buying merch, the more people wanting to buy tickets, the more bands wanting to tour with you, and the more venues here in America wanting to somehow get you over here on any tour that they possibly can.
Wow, yeah, that would be so amazing. It would mean it is worth every minute, which I think it is. I think it is not a comfortable lifestyle, not at all, but it is passion. And I think a passionate life is better than a comfortable life for me. And just a few days when we got back from the tour, the guitar player and I, we had the gig. It ended at about 1 a.m. and we had to drive back to Berlin from there with the train. And our train was leaving at 3 a.m. So we had a big time to wait. And we would arrive at 6 a.m. in in Berlin, where we live. So we just had to stay awake the entire time and everything was hurting. We were like on our limits. And then when I got off the train and then I arrived home, I'm like, only a crazy person will commit to this. I was like, all these musicians are crazy. But it's like a love. It's so much passion that makes up for it. And if we end up having this nice feedback, if it gets bigger and bigger, it makes up for all of this and it's absolutely worth it. But yeah, I was already like, oh man, this is a crazy life. This is crazy. Like, insane.
It is a crazy life, but again, I think you said the best. It's when you're passionate about it and you want to go and do it. The craziness is not gonna seem like it's crazy. It's just gonna seem normal. It's gonna seem like this is what you want to do, even no matter how insane it is. I'm gonna have something like that come up in October because the podcast is sponsoring a festival called When We Were Hungry that's happening out in Vegas, October 20th and 21st. So I'm going out there for the 2 days to go nuts at a festival, hang out with everyone that's there and just have a good time. I got a save the date wedding thing from one of my best friends. His birthday's here in my hometown on October 22nd.
Oh.
And I'm like, so I'm going to have to go through this whole entire festival, leave Las Vegas at like 5 in the morning, whatever the earliest I can get, just to come back here on like no sleep and go to your wedding. Only a crazy person would do that. Yep, that's me.
Yes.
Like, my mind was already thinking about how is this going to work? It wasn't like, is this going to work? It's like, okay, how can I make this work? Like, there is no doubt in my mind that it's going to work out. I just don't know how it's going to happen.
It's a difference if you really want something, because then you don't even think about how you just try to do it. I don't know. You just try to make it work. It's the same. I didn't even know what train we're going to get. I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I always say this is band and then this is my life. Like, band is always worth more to me. I don't know. Of course, sometimes like some things are always more precious than just the band. But it's like, if you have a life goal, it's so nice and fulfilling to get closer to it and reach little goals one after one and see that you could achieve something when you just really work for it. It's great feeling.
It's kind of like climbing to the top, but you know, you have that ultimate goal at the top, but there's always those small goals, like those little, like, you know, steps of the ladder that, you know, oh, we hit this goal, we hit this goal, we hit this goal, to all of a sudden the point where you're gonna be looking back on that in, you know, a couple of years, and you might be at that mountaintop point where you're just like, okay, it's like, okay, now we're doing a co-headlining tour, you know, one in Europe and one in America, and then even a little bit in Australia. We're doing a whole co-headlining thing with Spirit Box, and we're going to be playing in front of 6,000-7,000 people because that's just how good the music is, and that's how many people want to show up. And not going to lie, I'd probably be at like 2 or 3 of those shows, so I'm hoping it happens.
Same. Oh man, yeah, I love that energy you have. That's nice.
Well, bring in the energy. So one thing I do want to do just before we end up heading out is just because, of course, you know, we've been talking a lot about the band and talking a lot about just the goals that you have and just the aspirations and how much work you're putting into this. I do want to ask one question about the album. I just want to start out with, and we know there are singles released, so I'm not going to ask about those because everyone can go and listen to them. But out of the songs that have not been released yet that will be released on the album release day, which one of those do you think stands out the most and is going to be the one that people are going to be like, okay, this is the one of the deep cuts that we are just latching onto?
That's pretty hard to pick. It's pretty hard to pick. It's like picking between your children.
You're not the only person that has ever described it like that.
That's how it feels, because each of them, we try to treat each of them as a single. We try to make it's an album, but still we really try to give every song the full potential it can have. And I think they do have single potential, all of them. It's really hard. I have one of my favorites would be I don't know if I can say the name already, probably. One of my favorites is Sleep Tight. Because it is really diverse, I think, and there are different things in there other songs don't have, like the C part. I think this would be one song I would love to have an orchestra with, or play in a really big arena or something like really crazy with other singers. And I think this is one song that could really touch you, like emotionally maybe, because it has like a different aspect. And I think one people will really enjoy is Locked, probably, because it's a little heavier again.
Well, because I'm just taking a look at my notes that I have on the whole entire on everything, and first thing is the one that I would have picked was Locked. I'm not gonna lie, because
there we go, yeah.
Because the way I kind of looked at it was taking a look at it, just the way it opens up. It's kind of like, you know, rougher guitars, angrier, clean, just the way that it flows through. I'm like, this kind of has this feel of just this energy that like Rage Against the Machine would have had. So it's like now I'm starting to feel that. But then all of a sudden, as you go through the verse and the chorus, the construction, I was just like locked into this, and I'm like, it absolutely has this emotional feel like anything Howard Jones has touched. So Howard Jones with Killswitch Engage and Light the Torch, like just the way that it's constructed, the way that the flow is like the perfect differentiation between kind of this more intense energy and this flowing energy that's all cohesive at the exact same time. And I'm just like, this is what stood out to me. I mean, this was the one of the deep cuts that I was listening to right before we got jumping on this and got going on this. So that's why I stuck with Locked as mine. But I could also go into Sleep Tight a little bit as well, because that one also has something in my brain that I listen to, I'm like, made some connections there, because when you said put an orchestral piece behind it, oh no, that would be sick.
Yes. That's interesting to hear with Locked. I've never heard many people, of course, giving feedback to that ever. And Locked was one of our first songs we've ever did as a band, even before, like with the first album. So therefore, we were like, we can't listen to the song anymore. And then, but we liked the song. But it didn't make it to Escape because it was a little too different, and it sounded a lot different on the demo. We made it a little different in the studio, of course. But still, it has a lot of same parts existing since 2018. So to me, it is really hard to objectively look at the song. But I know, like, on my mind, I think it's a really good song, what we made out of it. But it's just, to me, I listened to it so many times already that I don't know how it affects people. I don't know how they're going to like it. But I think the energy, as you described, the energy is really there. When we wanted to make it a single actually, and it was really hard for us to pick singles, and we kept jumping between Heads Up and then Locked again. But we really wanted to do like a single for Locked. But then, yeah, now it is a little exciting. I don't know how you say present on the album.
It's like a nice little surprise.
Yeah, it's a little surprise on the album, yeah.
But even including Heads Up as a single as well, because I'm gonna look at my little note sheet here as well. Like that one also had a lot of that same feel, like with the flow and construction, kind of reminded me of Howard Jones with Killswitch Engage, Light the Torch, really taking that emotion to like a building feel, really putting that out in this. So when people listen to Locked, especially as a deep cut, and compare it to Heads Up as a single, which I've already heard, I mean, there's going to be more of that intense energy there, but the flow is going to connect overall. So it's definitely going to, honestly, it might actually have been the proper move to go with Heads Up as the single and then go with Locked as the deep cut, because when people listen to this, again, there's going to be that connecting point there where everyone's able to get into, especially if they were fans of Heads Up, which I believe most people are because of how good of a song it is. So you're going to add more to it. You're going to add a completely different feel to it, where it's two completely different songs. Do not get me wrong, but it's just cool to hear both of those sides.
Yes. We also had like some funny things. I wonder what you think about Loco Loco, because we keep laughing about the song because it's like a crazy piece. We just had so much fun doing it, and it's so chaotic for once, which we didn't dare to do with the other album. So we even have like a few little more chaotic songs and like funny songs on there, and we just did all we wanted to do, even all softer ones. Yeah.
I'll say, let me jump in a little bit of Sleep Tight and then also Loco Loco as well, because again, I'm the one that, and like I was taking a look at like the little, like the songs that I really like that were probably my favorites. I put little stars next to them. Loco Loco actually was one of those that I put the star next to. But jumping into Sleep Tight is like why I kind of think that orchestral piece will work in it, because listening to the verse, I've had the backing of the verse that keeps its electronic nature in the forefront with more of this symphonic rock flow, kind of like the Pretty Reckless with their hard rock style, meeting the symphonic flow of Evanescence, and with your vocals having more of the sharpness to them, just really kind of stood out. But then the way that the vocals hit in the chorus had this more powerful hard rock sound with a great flow into that. And they kind of reminded me a little bit of like the vocals that Diamante works with at the same time as well. So again, looking at all these different aspects coming in here and just the powerful flow of like more of this like symphonic flow that ends up going into a great chorus and Sleep Tight. That's where I'm like, okay, now when you're saying you want to put an orchestral piece behind it, that absolutely deserves it.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's funny. One of the influences like was actually 21 Pilots for this one, which is really different. Yes, because like some of the sounds and stuff like that were like inspired by 21 Pilots. So we try to mix a lot of different things. But not one you said, but it's funny that it gives a totally different vibe again.
It all depends upon with how the influence is, where you guys are picking up the influence from, how you end up constructing with your own sound, how everything comes together. Because I think with like some of the electronic pieces that are included in that song, that's where the 21 Pilots, influence really comes through. But then again, the flowing symphonic film, like, and just the hard rock bass behind them, like, kind of feels like, maybe I'll put it this way: Pretty Reckless, hard rock style, Evanescence, symphonic flow, 21 Pilots electronic overlay to really create this full entire, cohesive kind of feel to it, with more of this. A little bit more of an emotional sound behind it because of that symphonic flow.
Yeah, cool. But that's really interesting to hear. It's like the first time I'm receiving feedback for this, so super interesting.
And then don't forget about Loco Loco as well, because that was just like that was a track that just that was a track that probably just like took me back, just like with the difference that it had behind it.
Yeah, it is really different. It's funny because I don't know, it's a fun song to us. I mean, it has the message it has. It's about being like feeling crazy and feeling like you don't belong into somewhere, like you're too much, too loud. And I think the song describes it perfectly and sounds exactly what it feels like to be a little like over the top all the time. And so, it might be a little too much for some people, I think, a little too like crazy. Yeah, as the chorus also keeps saying crazy.
I said, looking at my notes sheet, like the way I kind of classified it was like, I kind of thought of like more of like this chaotic neutral kind of feel, where it's just, it's neutral to the point where it's like, it's consistent throughout the whole entire thing, but the whole entire feel behind it is chaotic because I looked at it, it's like experimental hard rock electronic infusion that like recent Bad Omens has explored. I've heard Bring Me the Horizon explore this. While She Sleeps explore this. And it's just creates that chaotic neutral vibe. But and then even going more through it, like that consistency of that chaotic neutral thing continues to flow. But the bass keeps that consistent flow and build as the vocals quickly burst through the verses with some great energy and pace. And then you get to the chorus and it just keeps flowing that exact same way. You just keep getting that exact great feel coming through. And I even also like how the bridge goes with the same flow and pace of a rougher sound of like of the chorus, and lets more of that concentrated, crazy sound really flow in the song called Loco Loco. I mean, I really like the move here because of how chaotic it was, and the sound just works really well.
Nice. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. That's cool. That's really cool.
And if anyone, oh yeah, and if anyone needs to know if they should take a listen to the whole entire album Run by Future Palace. And if it is an Album of the Year candidate, the answer to both those questions is yeah. Yes. No duh. Are you kidding me? Why are you even asking me that question? You know the answer is yes. All those answers apply to this.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. I'm really excited. I'm happy you liked it, honestly. Second album, second time we wrote songs together, so it's still pretty young for us, but I feel like this album is more confident than the first one, and we found our sound even better, and we try to experiment more and do different things again.
That confidence is just going to keep building as you continue to tour with this album. Once this album releases, once people get to listen to it, once you get to see the reactions of people when you're live on stage, and just everything around there, the confidence is just going to continue to build to the point where, again, 2023, I'm already going to predict that you guys are going to be over in the U.S. on a nice, huge supporting run, maybe with Spirit Box, maybe with Bad Omens, maybe with Beartooth, maybe, crazy enough would be a day to remember, but it is possible.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Let's see how it goes. I can't wait for it, honestly.
Then at that point, protect your voice, then jump into the pit with us so we can together disrespect our surroundings.
Exactly. Perfect.
Perfect. Well, Maria, as we bring this podcast to its conclusion, one thing I like to do is always give my guests, which in this case is you, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of the podcast. So, Maria, floor is yours.
Okay. All right. So thanks for having us, first of all. We're Future Palace from Berlin. We're having our album out on the June 10th. So go check it out. You already liked it, so I hope you will like it too. Yes. And follow us on Instagram, Spotify, wherever, TikTok. We do it all. We do it all. And I hope I'll catch you soon on tour, maybe even in the US.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Now it's time for me to end this podcast with three things. One, yes, Run by Future Palace comes out on June 10th. They've got tours with Anzoka, and of course, they got the tour with BattleBeast coming up if you're in Europe. But you're also going to want to keep in the know with them because, well, this album is absolutely incredible, and you're going to want to know when they're going to be touring in your area, in the next couple of years. Hopefully, US in 2023 at the very latest, because who knows, maybe at the end of 2022, all of a sudden they come over here and we're like, yeah! So here's what you're going to do. You're going to want to follow them on all their social medias. You're going to follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Watch their videos on YouTube. Stream the music on Spotify Podcast, wherever you can stream their music. Or Apple Music, I should say. Apple Podcast, that's my thing. Apple Music. Buy some merch. Pre-order the album. Do everything you can. If they're in your area, go and see them live. But instead of having to look all this stuff up yourself, I'm doing all the legwork for you. Description of the podcast, say find Future Palace online. Links and labels for everything. So all you have to do is click click share, click subscribe, click follow, click order, click buy me them tickets, because if you see them on tour, if you have a chance to be on tour, you're going to end up being like the meme of Fry from Futurama that's like, take my money. That's going to be me when they come over to the US. Trust me on that. So don't miss out on that. So Maria, now it's time for number 2. Whenever I have guests on the podcast that I've absolutely enjoyed having on the podcast, I always tend to make a certain promise as a thank you and to continue to support the band any way I can. So it's happened to every guest I've brought on, and pretty much from the start of this podcast with them, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a thing. So you've continued the trend. So my promise to you is this. It is not an if. If implies that this might not happen. No. This is a when. When implies this is going to happen. We just don't know yet. So my promise to you is this. When I get to see you perform live for the first time, whether it's over in Europe, whether it's over here in the US, or who knows, maybe I end up in Australia at the same point in time where you guys are touring down there for the first time. I'm just like, but when I get to see you perform live for the first time, my promise to you is this, Maria. First round's on me.
Nice. I'm excited, man. That's so cool. I hope it will happen really, really soon, honestly.
I hope it happens this year, but at the very latest, it's going to happen in 2023. Again, where it's going to happen, who knows, but that's the beauty of it. It's still going to happen sometime at some point. So, yeah.
Exactly. We're working on it.
Of course. So, as we bring this podcast to conclusion, Maria, I cannot end this podcast by saying goodbye for a couple of reasons. One, that is way too final. Two, I mean, I made that promise to you, especially with, I can't wait to see you and the band perform live, because after hearing that album, it's just like, okay, we need to see this live in the US now. So I'm going to make good on that promise. I always make good on those promises, along with the fact that I hope this is not the only time I bring you on the podcast, because this was fun. This was a fantastic conversation, and I'd love to bring you back on the podcast again to also help continue to support the band any way I can. So
thank you.
This can't be goodbye. No.
No,
We're going to
see you later.
Yep, this is see you later. Have you watched the podcast for? Because that's what I always end it with.
Really? No, I haven't.
Every time.
Nice. See?
Yeah. So
Awesome.
On that note, see you later.
See you later. Perfect.
Well, folks, this is my interview with Maria from the band Future Palace out of Germany. Once again, their new album Run comes out on Friday, June 10th. It is dynamic, it is all-encompassing, and it is an album of the year candidate for 2022. This is not a band you're going to want to miss out on, due to the fact that this band is going to be touring near you sometime in the next couple of years. 2023, I expect to see them over in the US, and I can't wait to do that, just because this band has so much going on for it. It's so dynamic that you're not going to miss out on any aspect of it. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the description of the podcast under Find Future Palace Online. You're going to follow them on all their socials. You're going to subscribe to their YouTube channel so you can watch music videos. You're going to go and pre-order the album, order some merch, whatever it is. Support the band whatever you can. Take a look at where they're going to be playing in Europe in 2022. And if you're anywhere within 2 hours of being able to see the show, I suggest you go and do it, because Future Palace is definitely going to be worth the price of admission, and you're not going to want to miss out on them in any given capacity. So go and do that. Also, follow us on the Chord Progression Podcast. We are on socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Catch us on all of those. And if you message us on those platforms, you get a message back. Boom, it's going to be for me, because I'm still the only one that does this. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, where you can watch these interviews. Or if you just want to listen to them and audio stream them, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon have you covered. Link to the podcast. So hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribing to the podcast, thank you. Means the world to me. If you are new here and plan on subscribing, thank you very much. If you're new here and you're just like, I just want to watch Future Palace when I don't want to subscribe to the podcast, might I ask if you reconsider? But if you don't feel like subscribing to the podcast at that point, I'm still going to say thank you for enjoying this episode as well. Thank you for going on this journey with us. Please remember to thank our sponsors, Phoenix Fitness and Custom Debuts. Links and promo codes description of the podcast. And remember, we are sponsoring When We Were Hungry Festival, Las Vegas, October 20th and 21st. Link is in the description of the podcast for you to check out the lineup, and get tickets if you haven't gotten them, and if they're available. So make sure you go and do that. Future Palace is going to be one of those bands that you're not going to want to miss out on. This album is dynamic. If you thought Spirit Box had one hell of a rise, wait until you see what happens with this band when they release Run, and wait to see what happens in 2023 when they get their first taste of the US, because it's going to happen. You're not going to want to miss out on it. You'll probably find me at least 1 or 2 of those shows. Trust me on that. We're going crazy in the pit for Future Palace. We're going to enjoy it. Let's have some fun. So on that note, that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of them with a big, healthy, and hearty see ya!